Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsidered live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. And here on this live stream, you are gonna get a very nice mixing session here in the studio. I got my DAW up, my digital audio workstation. Man, we're gonna do some mixing. It's gonna be good. My regulars know what it is. Speaking of my regulars, in the place already I see we have got the man Cornish. Yes. Also with us, we have Jack. Very nice. This is good. If you are new to the Reconsidered live streams, welcome. You made the right decision joining us. We want you here. Friends, right now we are in a warm-up phase. We are just getting ourselves situated. We are getting comfortable, feeling good. And here in this warm-up phase, I need to celebrate. I need to celebrate you. Thank you for being here. Whether you are here with us live in the chat, whether you are here with us live but you are not in the chat, whether you are here with us after the live, you are with us on replay, however it is that you are here with us, thank you for being here. I'm going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I have got my drink. I'm going to count to 3 and I'm going to clink. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. 1, and you feel the unifying tension building up. It's so satisfying and fulfilling. 2, of course, this is the part you look forward to most. This is the best part, my friends. It is on 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. Man, that is good. And it is good insofar as it is good. I like good things. It's good things I like. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video where it will be well received. Friends, we have got a DAW stream on our hands. And my regulars know what that means. If I were to open up, nice. One of my usual, here we go, I'm opening up in another window. Something my regulars are well acquainted with. And that is that I do a lot of live streams with content like this, where I'm improvising with my vocals into these loopers. And so I now have these loops, and each of these green circles is one loop, whether that's like a bass line or kick drum or whatever. So after each live stream, I get these 10 loops that are actually wave files that I can import into my computer. So my regulars already know this. And if you've been with us on the previous DAW stream that we did 2 days ago, that was where I was mixing this particular set of wave files that I got out of this live stream from August 5th, 2025. So, that's the live stream this is coming from. And as you've been listening to as we're coming in here at the beginning of the stream, you've been hearing this sort of tame loop. This looks like elevator music version. It's like, okay, just a couple. What do I have? Four of the wave files here I'm using. You can pick your own choice. So you've been listening to that. And if you were with us on the previous stream, you know that together we built up this initial arrangement. What is it? In a little over a minute long, let's say. There you go. Nice. On the left here, we have this arrangement. This is mostly from the previous DAW stream from, I guess it would have been, I'm looking for the name of the current stream we're doing right now. Where is it on my screen? This is wonderful. Today is April 17th. So this would have been April 15th, 2026. The link is in the description, by the way. I should have said that from the beginning. If you want to see part 1 of this, where we built all of this up on the left, we also did some mixing in the previous stream. At this point, I'm going to give you 1 or 2 run-throughs of the full stack of all 10 loops at once. Blam. Just so you get a sense of this, or a reminder of it if you heard it on the previous stream. But this is what all of my loops sounded like coming out of that live stream from a moment ago. I'm going to go on mute and let you hear this without any background noise. After that, we're going to come back. I'm going to let you hear the current arrangement, and then we're going to get into it. Then we're going to start mixing stuff. So let's do it. So that's all the loops stacked together, which I just love that. I love the sort of maybe like lead solo element in there. I find it inspirational, if I might say that about my own stuff. As if I remember any of this. You know, every stream I go into it and I'm just like, you know, streams have very, very little preparation. Which, by the way, if you haven't heard my story, that's why I do them. I was looking for an art form that needed almost no prep and doesn't necessarily need any follow-up. And so that's why I got into streaming so much. Anyway, I just launch into a stream and then we'd hang out for an hour or two and then I'm like, and then I don't necessarily think about it. So I don't even remember my own beats, which is pretty fun. By the way, I see with us, we have got the crazy Wabbit, which is great. And we are all happy to see him with us. Also, good doggy. Very nice as well. That's good. Jack says he digs that lead. I know, isn't it dope? Now, as we go in, I'm going to give you the the arrangement that we came up with in the previous stream and how far that's come. Now, I'm going to say up front, I'm happy with parts of this. A lot of it, I think, needs a lot of editing. So there's a lot to work with. We're only about a minute or so in, and there's still a lot to be included. After I let you hear it once, or yeah, I'll just play it through once. Then I'll talk some more, and then we're just going to get into start editing it. While I do this, I'm going to, again, go on mute so that you can get a better audio experience. And then after this, I'll come back on. All right. So now you've got, let me click back on this, hold on. Modify, let me save that. Now you got a first run through of the current state. As I say, I'm happy with some parts of it, and there's definitely some more that I want to add, edit, move around. Most of this is similar to where we left off on the previous stream. There's only a couple things that are different. The arrangement that's farthest to the right, like this sort of area, I changed a little bit with respect to these two layers, strum light and strum dark. I changed a bit with respect to these two layers. That was, what is this? What is it? A low pass filter. So it was a low pass filter that I messed with the most, but also the arrangement. I forget exactly what it was before, but I believe I had brought them in like, I don't know, this early or whatever it was, and I was more fading. It's like, it didn't work, or I didn't like it as much myself. I got the bass coming in. I like that. That was good. I also added this bit here because there wasn't much drums going on and I wanted a little more continuity. This, of course, was a nice compliment over here because it got cut off in the first half. So now the second half is just complementing it after 8 bars, which is pretty good. So it's got enough symmetry in here to satisfy me. I'm not sure. Yeah, I might want this to keep going. I'm not sure how I want to handle this one. So this layer in general, stutter support. This one. So this layer. It's like it wants to be a lead, but it fits not as the lead. When the real lead isn't around, you're like, oh, that's a pretty cool lead. And then later, see, the real lead hasn't come in at all in the arrangement yet. And I don't know exactly, like, am I going to bring it in now abruptly? Or am I going to, because I do have to bring it in abruptly, I believe. Question mark? Should I question that perhaps? Maybe this middle. I'm looking at the bottom right, by the way. I'm sorry if I didn't make that obvious. I'm looking at this one. This is the main lead that I'm like, oh, it's so great. I wonder if it can... This is how the loop was recorded and how I originally intended it when I improvised it. But I wonder if it has a different symmetry, like maybe it's really supposed to be this way. Where's like that. And then I bring this in, and that's really what, like, I don't know. I've never even tried that. Let me see what that sounds like. All right. Well, so the answer is no to that. I'm keeping it. Whoops. Sorry about that. That it's going to be kept as I originally intended it. So that's glad I tried it, but no. Okay. So that's good. I see Ven is with us. And Ven asks, is that Logic? Oh, I'm sorry. And then immediately follows up with, oh, wait, no, it's Reaper. Yep. Yeah, it's Reaper. I am using Reaper. All right. So anyway, we've got an initial arrangement. I do think I still think that I am going to be changing a non-trivial amount about this arrangement. But for now, nothing is like leaping out to me as urgently needing attention. Unless I were to just like totally raise it and start over, which I am not going to do. I'm going to keep moving forward. So the question is, will I bring in the solo at this point? I don't know. Is it going to sound good right now? Or should I have some kind of like intentional build up to it? Because right now what we have is like organic build up from nothing. That's what this first chunk is. Just bringing in, so actually I should probably even reduce that further. This here, this is the real organic building up from nothing. Then up to this point, all of this is like, I don't know, the natural outgrowth of most of the layers from an organic outgrowth of nothing. But after that, this is where it starts being creative response. And it's no longer organic outgrowth. So, the question now is what's going to happen next in this, dot. Who knows how long this next phase is going to be. One of the things I was thinking about in, I don't know, the past couple days. My regulars know that I was pretty sick a couple days ago, and I'm pretty much over it at this point, but I'm still, not totally 100%, but pretty much. I'm pretty much 100%, but not entirely 100%. But I'm mostly, but it's not technically. And the observer of thoughts, woo! Very nice. Oh, I was going to make a comment about my streams. Dang. But then I lost my comment. Oh well. It was some kind of meta comment about my own stream content and something along those lines. Coming back to the song though, the song that we're working on, the question is this now the right time, now that there's like an abrupt, as I say, this chunk of the song, this is like a standalone modular creative response to what came before it. So the question is now what is appropriate to build upon it? Is now a good time to bring in this solo layer? Or do I need to have a little bit more build up and then bring in the solo layer? Oh, here's the comment I was going to make. I remember now. And by the way, I'm going to play some of this like elevator music version while we wait. Just so you have something. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, that's perfect. But my thought was that most of the songs that I've done where I've done some kind of arrangement from them, I'm speaking primarily about in a DAW, using Reaper in my case. But this also applies to when I do my intentional arrangements, which are really cool. And right now I'm not focusing on, but I plan to return to. I'm going to see if I can find the playlist, and I'll put the playlist in the chat. Here, I believe this is it. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to put this in the chat right now. Nice. There it is. I'm going to pin it in the chat as well. Whoa. Can you believe this? Oh my goodness. So those are the songs where I perform them live on my loopers, but I planned out an arrangement ahead of time. Like I'm performing a specific sequence of stuff. As opposed to what I normally do on live streams, which is all improvised. So this is just an example of like, oh, here's another way that I don't know, arranged, planned songs rather than improvised. And I had brought that up for some reason. Whatever that reason was, it eludes me now. But let's check out what this initial arrangement sounds like, which again is going to get tweaked a lot, or at least a little. And I'm checking to see how we like the solo at this point, yay or nay. Yeah, I think the answer is maybe. Maybe. What else should I be including here at this point? So as it's coming out of, let's see, up until this point, virtually all of the layers were in, more or less. Not exactly. Should I be bringing this one back in or saving it? I'd like to save it actually for like another, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want. I'm going to do what I want. Me. I'm going to do what I want. It's me doing what I want because it's my me-ness. Just me, my me. Because gonna what? What do you think of that? Was that well articulated? Ugh. What on earth just happened? Okay. I'm going to just manually do something simple. There we go. Much better. I tried to copy and paste and it was not happening. I'm sure the technical error was on my end. There's really no reason to assume anything other than that. But nonetheless, I'd like to just get this done if I might. Boing. Is that right? No, here it's going to go. Yes, I believe that's... Whoops. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yep. Okay, good. So we got that, and then this also should get brought in. Like this? Is that right? Nice. Okay. So this will be a repeated phrase. Oh, and I never said the thing that I was reflecting on recently because I was sick and I was just thinking about stuff. P.S. Even when I'm very healthy and well, I'm always thinking about stuff. So there's nothing necessarily special about that. But there is something special about the fact that Davey is with us. Wee. You see the awesome versatility of my voice? That's what's happening behind the loopers, by the way. By the way, I see Jack asked a question a little bit ago that I had not responded to. I saw, but I didn't respond to. And it was that he says, have I ever considered how many syllables are in each lead line? I think I want to hear more about what you mean by that, because that that does mean something to me, but I'm not sure if that's what it is to you. So I'm interested to hear more about what you mean. Like, please elaborate if you would. That's my first response to you on that. Secondly, I might need to get another lozenge for my very nicely recovering, healing, healthy body. But I have seen or counted syllables. That's the majority of what I do. Most of what I do musically is about pattern in counting and numbers. In general, my melodies are somewhat flat or mild. I don't have these like dynamic, moving, emotional masterpiece. I don't know what. I usually don't do that kind. It's usually just like, nah, nah. That's about all I can do. That's because the melody is not where frankly, my expertise, my knowledge, my experience, my just time spent. My time spent is mostly in percussion, which is about patterns and rhythms and number and time and stuff like that. Am I going for? Jack says when I get into the beats and I grab the mic and I do some kind of singing or rapping, in my case perhaps, are you going for any kind of structure, haiku, sonnet, prose rather, etc.? Oh, okay. See, I was talking about something else entirely. So that's good. I'm glad that you clarified. Let me go back to some talking music. And the answer is I don't count that kind of stuff consciously. I more feel it out as I say words. So as there's something that I'm rapping to, I start by just like saying anything. I don't know if I've ever said this in any kind of, I guess, public setting or even out loud, really. But I think always, but if not always, then almost always, usually, when I write some lyrics, the first thing I do, like absolute step one, is just, I guess vibe with the music. That's step one or step zero. But the first thing I do lyrically, once I'm already like in the flow and I'm ready to start writing, the first thing I write, almost always, is just something that I would say normally, but fits rhythmically in the beat. So in that sense, yes. In that sense, I'm counting the syllables in a beat by speaking over it. But it's not like I'm like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 7, okay, 5, 7. I hope you caught that. That was pretty nice. After that, so what I'm saying is, I just say a normal English sentence with no regard to its musicality beyond just, does it rhythmically fit in the span of the music? Then, as of the second verse, I am now constricted. I am constricted based on what I said previously, and I have to rhythmically match it. Rhythmically and rhymically. I don't know what the word would be there. And then for the rest of the song, I have fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer available options until I get to the very end. That's usually my writing process. And at that point, it's all based on the number of syllables in a beat and so on. That's why I say all that. But I'm not necessarily going for a specific thing like a haiku or anything like that. There was a time when I did that. Like when I was more, maybe let's say like starting out as a lyricist. I really started with poetry. Poetry is actually where I started. And that included written poetry and performance poetry. I used to go to poetry open mics, and frankly, I was very much not like most of the people who were there. Most of the people there were these like, sophisticated, learned. Let's discuss this poet's work on whatever, and then here's my, original composition on der and whatever. And I get up there and I'm more about the performance of it. And so they're like, whoa, this is totally knocking us out of our chairs. But they also were able to give me a lot of feedback on the structure of writing and stuff like that. So it was a nice confluence. Would that be the right word? A nice confluence of energies and such that resulted in them having this performance guy for a few years and me getting a lot of training as a lyricist. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is Jack asked about haiku or blah, blah, blah. One of the things I used to do as an initial lyricist was I would be writing poetry with arbitrary quantities of syllables per line. And I even wrote a program for myself that would just randomize, give me a random set of numbers and it'd be like, all right, 7, 3, 6, 9, 2, 2, 5. And I'd be like, you got it. And I would write a poem with that number of syllables. So, and I have a bunch of other tools that I wrote for myself that do things like that help me be creative and so on. Speaking of being creative, let's see how this sounds when we come in with here. And I want to know what is it that I want to extend here. Oh, I still never said the insight that I was building up to. Many of my songs are short. I'm just going to cut right to it. Whether it's the one I have linked in the chat, this is why I put that in the chat, because this thing I haven't said yet. The DAW-less arrangements or these DAW-full arrangements, they're usually pretty short. Like they get kind of quick to the point. The most recent one, which by the way, the music video is releasing this coming Monday, which will be April 20th, I guess. April 20th, 2026. This coming Monday, it's being released. To the most recent DAW arrangement, which we did in the most recent DAW streams. This one is called, what is this one called? It's called something. How you like that? Is that helpful? I think it's called some kind of thing of some sort. It's possible that it might have a name that I would remember in some way, such as penetrating relief. How do you like that? I recalled it using external supporting technology. Penetrating relief. That's coming on Monday. All of this is to say, many of my arrangements, my intentional arrangements, they're concise. Maybe that's a good way to put it. And I was reflecting, should I perhaps challenge that and do a song that's longer? Should I make this one like 7 or 8 minutes long? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that here, but I might do that in some song. That's it. We're fully caught up in terms of comments I wanted to say. Now, in terms of the arrangement, let's get back to the main point of this stream. In terms of the arrangement, I had this, as I said earlier, I characterized this as a creative response to what organically came before it. And then I decided to try bringing in the solo, and it's still to be determined whether this is the right move. But I don't know anything else. None of the other layers, I have any idea what I'm going to do with them. But it is occurring to me, maybe I'd like to have starting at this point over here, the same creative response as the creative response on the left. Now we're going to have another creative response here on the right. Question mark? I don't know. I might want to do it a little differently. I might want to bring both of these in, for example. I just don't know exactly how I'm going to handle it. But here is what I want to do right now. I'm going to listen to this building up to the previous ending and decide what I'd like to add. Which parts of which loops here should I be extending? Let's find out. Okay, I'm pretty sure I want to hear these continuing on. So let's see what this sounds. Talking about the whole way. I guess I'll just put it there. But really, I more want this. So let me say I might do. Is it? Dang. What's the? Oh, okay. In different programs, you use different keyboard shortcuts for things like cutting the sample there. There you go. Now I can pull this out separately. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it like that. I don't know if I'm going to go the whole way out. But I'd also like in here to do a little bit of the low pass filter and also the panning. The panning that you see here is another thing that was different that I changed since the previous stream. Oh, that could be good. Why don't I do that? I'm going to mirror the fade in with a fade out. The panning I made more extreme. Just so that there was another variable changing there in the song. Which, by the way, is my general approach. And it's sort of what my name means. Reconsider it. Is that I generally just mess with variables when I'm making a song. I'm just kind of playing around with stuff. A lot of times it's, if not completely random, then, you know, kind of quasi-random. Like right now, I'm not really intentionally picking a specific spot to change this low-pass filter that much. I'm going to just change it arbitrarily, but then I'll play around with it a little. You know, I'll adjust. So I don't know how that's going to sound, but hopefully kind of good, question mark. And now, because this other layer at the top of the screen is meant to be a mirror of that, I'm going to roughly mirror what it looks like also on this other layer. I don't want them to match exactly, so I'm going to mess with it a little. But I do want them to be pretty close. So I think that's probably all I need to do for this one, for a first pass. So this one went a lot lower though, so I probably should bring this lower. Not that much lower though. Doesn't have to go to 0. All right, let's give this a listen. Does that sound at all like it's on the right track? I also got to think about which percussion do I want to bring in the bass. I don't fully have the Reaper UI intuitive in my hands just yet, but it's getting there. All right, let's see. I guess from back here. So, first of all, I think yes, this was the right move here. I want these to be more exaggerated, though, in their low-pass filter johns over here. That's probably going to be a little more exaggerated, which is what I'm looking for. Yeah, this one doesn't have a lot of what I'm thinking, but I can get it to be sounding pretty good. How's this? Hold on. Okay, so that's looking pretty nice. I've thought about bringing them closer together visually in the DAW because these two layers are meant to be companion layers. But I'm attached to seeing this like I see my loopers. And this is the center loop on the top looper. This is the one to the left of it. This is the one to the right of it. I have them panned that way. It just gives me less to think about. So for right now, I'm planning to keep it, but I don't know. I might translate to new DAW existence. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. This one I thought about not necessarily. Here's what I need. Something like this, and then another one of these. Like this kind of shit. That's what I need. Alright, let's see. Move that one down a little. And then we got something like this, right? That's what I did. See how this one is like in the way, this whole layer here? Oh, you know what I can do? I think there's a way I could do this. Hold on. I might be mistaken. Oh no, I'm not mistaken. Yes. Look at this. This is what you call a master class in using Reaper. Look at that. I just solved problems. How you like that? That's why you tune in. I'm solving all your problems. This is great. Do some of that. That's pretty good. All right, that's probably going to sound pretty nice. I want to replicate that. And I don't necessarily mean literally replicate it. But these, you know, what I did over these two runs of the loop, this sort of like down and up, I'm going to repeat that here for the next two runs of these loops. And I'm going to, you know, treat these as separate. I'm going to move these off for a second. That's fine. I'll leave it off. There we go. This comes over here. Good. Now I'm going to, on both of these, do some, let me try to, can I make these smaller? Oh, so nice. Oh, that's just so masterful. So good. Thank you, DAW, for giving me that capability. By the way, Jack was making a comment a moment ago about how the structure of the song as it is so far to him sounds a little like an intro, then a verse, then a little like mini break climax type of thing, and now it's just building into the chorus now that I'm bringing in this solo thing. I could see some of that. It does have chunks. It has distinct chunks like that. And a lot of my writing does have that. I don't know exactly how to comment on that. I don't know if that comes from the poetry or other things that I did in my history. So I want to get this one coming back down here. I actually don't even want this to necessarily stay that long. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit. Get this moving. Because I want to get a full down and up as well. That's sounding pretty good there. Let's start bringing this down. Let's get this pretty low pretty fast. Well, not like that. Here, like this. That's what I'm doing. Now we're talking. By the way, there's going to be a brief break in live streaming for a couple of days after this one today. It'll probably be like 5 or 6, almost a week. It'll be almost a week before I do more streaming. When I do, it'll be pretty much just back to normal again. So we have a temporary reduction in stream availability. Okay, we'll do something like this. And I'm going to test the sound pretty fast on this, because I want to make sure this is going to sound the way that I'm wanting it to sound. There we go. Okay, good. Now that, you know what, that might not do it. That might not be work. Ugh. Dang. Well, let's see. Let's see, I don't know. No, that's good. That's good. I say Uncle Chrome is with us. Yes. I think this is going to work. Good. I wasn't totally sure if I had cut the low pass filter in the way that I wanted, but I did. Hooray. Is there a way that I can shrink? Dang, I got to do it manually. That stinks. Can I do it like this? Dang, it's still only one at a time. Whoa. Okay. And this one as well. Alright, good. Those are back up to the max. So now the question is, do I want to bring these in as a continued thing? Is the solo going to continue? Should I plan that, like, at some point later on, that the solo will have another 1 or 2 reoccurrences? Wonderful. Okay. So, like, here's the solo. Am I going to do something like this? Is it going to come in again now that there's been another little arrangement of some other bullshit? Or is it going to be more like, you know, it comes in, there's going to be another round of more bullshit, and then the solo will come back in? Do I do, whoa, what was that? Do I do 2 solos back to back? I don't know. I'm thinking about how can I do something that's not similar to what I've already done. That's something that I usually use as a guiding principle when I'm doing music. Is that I'm almost always, I don't want to claim literally always, I'm surely there's exceptions to this, but I usually use that as a guiding principle, like at least one thing, at least one small thing in every time I write a song or lyrics or what have you. I'm trying to do at least one thing that's different from what I would have done on autopilot. At least one thing that I have to do with intentionality. That I have to choose something I've not that I've never done it before, but that it's not what I spontaneously am inclined to do. Here's something I'm spontaneously inclined to do, and that is to keep these shakers going during all of the solo. Maybe have them fade out by this point or something. I see with us we have Shaba. Yay, welcome Shaba. Shaba, I apologize for my voice cracking there. I'm still getting over, you know, general body weakness and failure a couple days ago. So we're going to try something like this for these shakers. This will be the initial test run of whatever. I might let them go longer. I might decide to cut them even shorter. I guess I'll just leave it like this for now. And this up here, I'm going to be bringing in a little bit of randomization here, but tending towards something on the higher side for this low pass filter. Yep, that's good. It should be coming like that, exactly. Okay, we're in good shape here. Doing some of this. I'm going to play the song while I do this. Everything I'm doing here is pretty random. I mean, it's not totally random because you can see there's okay, so that, I think that was the right move to, yeah, that was the right move to stop the shakers before it was, whoa, oh dang, nice. To stop the shakers before it does the full fulfillment of the phrase. Dope. I'm keeping that. I didn't even know what was happening there. I thought the thing was over by then. Wow, we're totally keeping that. That after the solo, we had the same. Oh, perfect. So that's exactly. You know, when I'm writing stuff, a lot of times I do things randomly. I alluded to that earlier when I was talking about my approach to lyrics. Is that I'll do things randomly and then just use that as restrictions for what I do subsequently, which is how organic development works. Like that's what creativity is. Anyway, but what that means often, and I just experienced it right now, is that I don't always know what is going to later come as some cool resolution. And this was an example of it in action. So I'm going to go back and just play this through again, you know, kind of this area, keep adjusting things. Nice. Okay. Let's see. Something creative, huh? Gotta be creative. Why can't I just be like really predictable and basically just like everything else around me? Why can't I just resemble my surroundings? Why must I always stand out in some way? Oh, what a burden. What a glorious, glorious burden. I'm burdened with loud originality. Hold up. Stop everything. Vicio is with us. Yes. Okay. I don't think it's finished necessarily, and I'm not convinced that this needs to have nothing in it. This, like this space here, I'm not convinced that there needs to be nothing in there, percussion wise. I do think it makes sense to leave the bass out of this chunk as I have done here. The bass being, of course, this layer that I've just highlighted on the left. So I'm happy with that. I'm wondering about the other kick layer, if I should bring that one in. And also I'm wondering about one of these. Whoa! Which one was I going to do? I forget if I was going to keep this or this. I'll start by keeping that one. And let me see about one of those other percussion. Here you go. Wonk. Get in the Wonkavator. I said, get in the Wonkavator. How about this? I wonder what that's going to sound like. Ooh, look at that. Wow. Much do. Very percussion. All right. I'm going to listen from the very beginning. How you like that shit? I'm going to listen from the beginning and you're going to like it. I'm going to go on mute as well so you get a most excellent listening experience. Okay, that's good. That's good. I got a little bit of a modification there as well as we transition through that. Righteous Ecstasy, as you see at the top of the screen. That's what I'm naming this one. Righteous Ecstasy. Or that's my tentative name anyway. Oh, goodness. I think I have to do something with the mix on these kicks. Yeah, look at this one is way much more anti-quiet. Yeah. Okay. Let's take this one down a bit. I might even take this one up a bit though, too. Yeah. What do I have for that? Okay. All right. Okay. I think that I might need to do a little bit over here too with this. Whoa, my goodness, whoa. No. Hooray. All right, let's see how that sounds. Jack says maybe go hard at this spot right here, 65-1. I think you might be right. Jack might be right about that. So I'm going to bring all this shit in. Or at least a lot of it. I don't know if it's going to sound right, but let's see. Once again, let's get a little build up. Maybe I need to bring in the bass at that point. I'm also not convinced about the shakers being where they are. I'm going to take these, I like it to drop out around here. And that means I'm going to have to fix this, quote unquote fix, by doing something like this and this and this. nice. All right. I think that this is enough of a rough draft. Going up to, I think, like this spot right here, which is exactly where the cursor is, and I guess that's 1:45 minutes in. I think this is enough of a rough draft that I want to give it another listen from the start. I'm going to celebrate with some saltine crackers. I don't know if you can handle that. I'm pretty confident you probably can handle that, but I'm not sure. I don't know for certain. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a heads up. Also, I'm giving you the heads up here that these saltines, this particular like sleeve of saltines, seems to not have gotten a lot of salt at the saltine factory. So I'm suffering and enduring the great, like, overwhelming burden of there's so many other things going on, and now also my saltine doesn't have salt on it. So look at how masterfully I manage this emotional regulation that I demonstrate presently before you. This is amazing. Recon really has his own thing. I forget if I said that out loud already, or did I just read that? Anyway, Davey says that. Recon has his own thing. Thank you. So anyway, we're going to listen through. I'm going to go on mute. I'm going to have saltine. But there's been enough changes that I want to hear a full start to finish. And so this isn't finished. There needs to be another, like, probably one or at least two more phrases out here. Whoa, sorry. At least another 2 phrases out here, and at least one more occurrence of the solo. Probably more. It's probably going to be like 3 or 4 more phrases and 2 more appearances of the solo. Maybe I'll have like something here, and then a double solo thing, and then another phrase after that. And maybe that'll be it. And how long will that'll be? Even that'll only be 4 minutes or so. So maybe I'll do something like that. Let's see, is this the right length? It is the right length. Okay, good. Let's do that. Anyway, in the meanwhile, let's start at the beginning again. I'm going to go on mute, and let's enjoy this together. All right. I'm pretty happy with this, actually. I'm happy with the coming and going of stuff. I'm getting some nice little ideas here and there. I think I like this idea as well of having a double solo and then one more phrase. I would like to mark that. So here's my plan. There, I've marked the end of the song, my current plan for the end of the song. And I have no idea how this is going to get filled out. All I know is that I'm setting these limitations and restrictions for myself. Burp. Oh, you know what I should do? Here's what I should do. I should reward you. I should reward you with another 1 or 2 listens through of the current arrangement while I do you the great service of getting some food for me to eat. It's going to be so good for you. Here's the plan, my friends. I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to go on mute for, it's not even going to be a minute, honestly. I'm going to go on mute, and I'm going to let you listen to the arrangement again. I'm going to grab myself something to eat, and I'm going to be right back. All right. That was good. Man, I really have no thoughts at all. You know, one of the things that I'm always exploring and experimenting with as a loop artist, because everything I do is loop based. You notice I don't, you know, this is like the longest a melody can get. I don't have just like a free form something that goes the whole span of the song, unless I have lyrics. And I was thinking about possibly adding lyrics to this song. I don't think I'm going to. Like right now, I'm not seeing that at all. I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing lyrics in this. But it's not off the table. But one of the things I was saying that as a loop artist, I always have to find ways to keep it interesting, even though I'm repeating the same phrases over and over and over and over and over. And so it very quickly becomes about the arrangement. And so that's why I've always got these, you know, really complicated looking arrangements. You know, it might start off kind of simple, but then it rapidly becomes this like, you know, binary, different dimensional thing, which is great. So I'm thinking about which part I'm going to work on next. I think I want to put more time into this area because there's going to be more that comes after it, and you know, that has to have a strong foundation. I think up to here is pretty strong foundation. So let's start listening around here-ish. Yeah, I'm not convinced about this one. Maybe that gets drawn out this way instead. And it's not happening right there. There's something about this transition that I'm not convinced of. I think one of the things I need to do is keep messing with the low pass filter that's applied to these. So I'm going to do that. And let me just hear this. How much should I listen to on loop while I'm playing with that? Maybe like, I don't know, randomly this much. Okay, do I want to do the same? Do I want to repeat that phrase? Because I had previously repeated it and then I took it out. And it was this dope thing. But then I took it out because it didn't wind up fitting anymore. I think I'm going to try it. I see Uncle Chrome is back. Yes. Uncle Chrome says, it sounds like this is coming along. I think you're right. I think it is coming along. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. Yep, we're doing that. Yes. Okay. Okay. I was like, I'm sitting there like, oh, this isn't done. I know this isn't done, but what's missing? I know exactly what's missing. is that I have to extend these layers. So I'm just going to keep extending them all the way through, keep messing with the low pass filter on them. It's going to be great. Right now, it's not meant to be like a bass breakdown. So that's what I'm feeling is missing. There you go. I should mess with the panning on these too. Yes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. That is exactly how that goes. You know, sometimes I talk about... I talked about this on one of my Symptoms of Reality interviews, I think. Maybe not. But sometimes I talk about how, like, I'm not writing a song. When I'm writing lyrics or I'm doing this composition as well, or mixing, whatever you call this, arrangement, whatever I'm doing here. I'm not really writing a song. I am uncovering a song. There's some quote by some great artist. What was it? Michelangelo? I don't know. Maybe some. I don't know. Some great artist had some quote that was something like, "When I go, a sculptor, I should say, a sculptor." He says, "When I go to sculpt, it's not that I'm sculpting, a person's form. It's that I'm clearing away everything that isn't the form." And I feel like that very, very much when I make music. That's the sense I have. And so a moment ago when I was like, yes, that's how it sounds. That's because I feel that way. I don't think I adjusted this at all. For these DAW streams, I'm going directly through YouTube, so there is no Twitch other half of this, as there often is. And there's also no StreamYard. I'm just going directly to YouTube, which in a lot of ways is better. In a lot of ways, it gives me a lot more power. But one thing that StreamYard has that's really cool, and I don't think I have a way to do, is that it lets me display a comment on the screen. And unfortunately, I don't see a way to do that through the YouTube UI. So I missed that feature. That's a cool feature. I want to be able to put comments on the screen. That is to say, an individual comment at a time. rather than, you know, the whole flush of comments is, you know, in the corner or something. Unless, should I do that? I don't know, I'll think about that maybe. I know many streamers do that. They put the chat just on the screen. I'll consider that. I hadn't really put much thought into that. I was disinclined to do that, but I don't know. I'll consider it. Something in here needs to change. I'm not sure exactly what it is. There's something that needs to be changing more than is changing. Or maybe this is a spot where I put some lyrics. Because this is really, this stretch here gets repetitive by the second time. So I don't know what needs to change. Yeah, it's completely duplicate. I almost never do this. Right? I can't sit still when this happens. I'm like, I got to do something to this. You may notice that this highlighted section here, where that's the exact center of it, and there you go. This highlighted section, it's the exact same thing repeated with nothing changing between these two measures. Or between these two, I don't know, iterations of these loops here. Even the low pass filter on the strum light and dark layers, even that's repetitive. I don't know. Let's listen to it from before, not just looping that. Yes. Yes, that's how that's gonna go. I somehow lost the defaults. I don't know what I did wrong here. But the defaults, when I do these fades, is not exactly what I want. Not what I'm accustomed to, anyway. Not what I'm assuming. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. Or this is gonna be a rough draft. Let's see. Okay, this is good. So I'm actually feeling pretty confident now, up to right about here. Just, you know, this return to this pattern of drop everything out but this for one, I don't know, 1 bar, however you count this. I guess that would, my looper would have counted this as 2 bars. In any case, but like right up to here basically. So that's 211, 218, what is this, 215 roughly? 215. So in this stream, I've added another minute because we started and it was just over a minute. It was like a minute, minute 5, something like that. Now we're going up to about 2 minutes, 2:15. So we added an entire minute. That's good. Effectively doubled it. I also re-secured some of the areas that I wasn't totally confident in. I did a little bit of moving around. I built upon this solo layer. I charted out the rest of what the arrangement will be. There's going to be 2 solo layers back to back here. I don't know how I'm going to make that work, but that's the game. And then we're going to have it, the end is going to be here. It's just being marked here. This particular loop may or may not be positioned at that spot. It's just marking where the end will be. So this is good. Friends, here's the plan. I could go on a bit longer. However, for logistical purposes, let's take a listen through from the start, and then we're going to be winding down the stream. So probably another 10 to 15 minutes or so for this stream, and then we're going to be closing it out. Well, let's listen to this. Do it at least one more time. We'll do a closing cheers, and we'll pick up in the next stream. It's going to be really good. Let's listen. What did we accomplish? What's the song so far? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. As a rough draft, you know, as a tentative draft, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. And one other thing that I would like to, I don't know if it's possible for me to make it happen, but for one of these iterations of the solo, probably the second one, if I'm able to pull this off, for the second iteration of the solo, I would like to get a full stack of the entire, just everything all together, so you can, like a lot of what I do with this looping is I disassemble the stack and I put it in different pieces, and it's sort of left up to your intuition and your subconscious to put it together on a subconscious level. But in this case, I want to slam you with the whole stack. I want to see if I can work that in. Is there a way I can build up to that? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, my friends. But until then, until we continue to come back and keep working on this, thank you for being here today. We're going to enjoy the closing cheers together right now. This is going to be so good. Grab your drink if you are joining us. You're invited. You're invited to join us. You are invited. We're going to have the closing cheers, my friends. It's going to be so good. You are going to feel so togetherful with the rest of us. Friends, I'm going to count to 3. We're going to do it. This is going to be really great. Here it comes. A 1, a 2, a 3. Whoa. Clink. Cheers, my friend. That's good. I love doing this with you. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video where it will be well received. I hope to see you in the next live stream. We have, at this time, what my regulars know as the previous menu of live streams, soon to be updated with the DAW streams. But my regulars know that we get together on a regular basis. We get together on a regular basis, and we do these hangouts. It's really great. Here at your favorite online hangout. Most of my lives, if you look at my live history, they're Tinker Times or Unspoken. That's where we get together and I do some improvised live looping with the vocals and bring in the synth as well for some fun stuff on that. Recently we started bringing in these DAW streams, and they're just going to continue. There's going to be more of these DAW streams. There's going to be a lot more of this. So you'll see a new screen pretty soon. But whatever kind of stream it is, my regulars know that we get together certain scheduled times each week at the top of the screen right now. Eastern U.S. time zone. Every Sunday at 1 p.m. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. You can put those in your calendar. And my regulars know that we also get together for a few more each week. Those could be any day, any time. Enable notifications now so that you can join us for those unscheduled streams. And whenever it is that you join us again, until then, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please have a very wonderful and amazing rest of your day today. Please allow the rest of your day today to bring you all manner of goodness and blessing today. Please allow yourself to become receptive today to all of the possible goodness and all of the goodness that you think is impossible today. Please allow yourself to have expanded sense of horizon, expanded sense of what your limitations are. Please allow yourself to know that there is more beyond what you expect today. And I will see you in the next Reconsider It live stream.